guys, this is going to be a little bit of a rambling video. I want to talk about the whole hashtag IStandWithAhmed thing that's been going on the last few days. I find it interesting because I've seen a lot of people jumping on the IStandWithAhmed bandwagon. People from all over the political spectrum. People I definitely disagree with and people I absolutely agree with. So it is something that we briefly talked about on the podcast last week, but I found it very interesting. There's been a lot of new developments in the story, so I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about it again. Now, if you don't know what's going on with the whole Ahmed Muhammad thing and the situation I'm talking about, first off, get cable under the rock that you live under, but I'll briefly kind of just do a quick rundown. North Texas, 14-year-old kid named Ahmed Muhammad builds a homemade clock, wants to be an engineer, takes it to school to show a teacher. Teacher sees it, says, "Cool, that's awesome, but it looks kind of suspicious, don't show it to anybody else." Kid puts it in his backpack, goes to another class, the thing starts beeping, he takes it out, that teacher freaks out, sends him to the principal freaks out, calls the cops detain and arrest the kid, whatever you want to call it, question him for several hours, and then let him go when they realize it's just a clock. Now, my take on this whole situation is it should have been cut off right at the principal, okay? As soon as the principal realized that the kid's saying it's a clock, there's another teacher who's verifying, yes, it is in fact a clock, common sense should sink in and go, okay, well, they take the device away from the kid, say you can pick it up after school or have your parents come pick it up or whatever. It's sad we live in a world where there's no common sense in this type of thing, where this kid can get the cops called on him and a kid who, chews a Pop-Tart into the shape of a gun gets suspended from school. It's unfortunate that common sense does not exist in our schools. It should. That absolutely would have solved this problem right away. However, that didn't happen, and now all over the news. I mean, everybody's talking about it. They're saying these cops and these teachers were racist, although being Muslim is not a race, so I don't understand how that's racist, but whatever. They're using it to push their pro-Islamic message. CARE, which is I believe the Council for American Islamic Relations, has stepped in, and they're going to try and sue the school and probably try and sue the cops and all this stuff, right? They're making a big deal about it, and they're using it to push a very pro-Islamic agenda, all right? And this is the very same area where just last year they were trying to push for Sharia law that, of course, a judge ended up striking it down. So you got to understand there's a lot of bad things that can come from this particular bad example of no common sense in schools. So this is why we're talking about it, obviously. But here's the issue I have. As I said, I know a lot of people who I wholeheartedly agree with on just about every political topic there is that are very, very gung-ho for this Ahmed kid. But when you look at the stuff that's been coming out lately, things don't seem quite right. Like the fact that well, his dad is an Islamic activist. In fact, he was one of the Islamic activists that was trying to get Sharia law in this part of North Texas. Also the fact that it came out that the dad is the one that told the kid to take the clock to school. And the kid even admitted before he took it to school that he knew it looked suspicious. Add to that the fact that dad also has ties directly with CARE, and the fact that many experts have come out, I say many, I've seen 3 specific experts that were engineers, electronic engineers, that have come out and studied the pictures of this clock and said that all he did was take the internals out of an old Radio Shack model clock from the late 70s, early 80s and put it into a little pencil case that kind of looks like a miniature briefcase. So when you add all these things up, also the fact that it's come out that picture, that famous picture of Ahmed, a poor 14-year-old kid with his hands handcuffed behind his back, was staged by his father as well, it starts to look very, very suspicious. It starts to look like this was a staged event. This was something that they intentionally did to provoke this very reaction. Now, as I said, if we'd had common sense in our schools, they wouldn't have got the reaction they were looking for. But unfortunately, we don't. And this is the situation we're faced with. So, when it comes right down to it, this whole I stand with Ahmed thing, it's BS. It's bullshit, okay? Point blank. Do you stand with Ahmed? Should you stand with Ahmed? Hell no. This is a kid who is used as a pawn by his father, who's an Islamic activist. Now, no, it's not necessarily the kid's fault, but still, you shouldn't be on the kid's side. Do not stand with Ahmed.